Welcome back to another episode of the Family Album. I'm your host, AJ Tenari.
And I'm Matt Glass.
Last week you heard us discuss Loveless and the Age of Pleasure by Janelle Monáe. Loveless was by My Bloody Valentine. I forgot to say it first. But a very interesting episode as we had our first disagreement in quite a while.
Yeah, in quite a while. Hey, who knows? Maybe it'll be like American football. Maybe I'll end up just like liking it. I don't know.
Exactly.
I'll give it some space.
Yes.
But for now, it's still going to be a very overdriven and compressed mess for me.
Only time will tell if Matt will like that album. But let's not waste any more time.
Yeah, because I feel a presence in the studio.
As you know, Family Heads, it's an off week, so we bring in a special guest who gives a theme for this week's album. So please welcome James McDonald.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
Glad to have you on.
Glad to have you on. James, how you feeling today? You feeling happy to be here? You just said that.
I'm feeling great. I'm a huge fan of the show, and I'm huge fans of you guys as my friends. So,
oh, thanks, James.
This is like the best of both worlds coming together here.
James, give us a little bit of insight into your musical background, preferences, taste. Just give it to us all at once.
All right. That's a great question. See how I'm stalling? This is like what I do like in a job interview or something. Musical preference. I grew up in a musical family. My grandfather played accordion since he was 12 and still does. He's like a career musician and he's traveled all around the world playing accordion. He still plays. He's 89.
That's awesome.
So you know, he always wanted me to start music early. I think it was like second grade. He's like, "Yo, did you pick an instrument yet?" I'm like, "Grandpa, I'm still learning like fractions and how to add." But eventually played trumpet in fourth grade.
I didn't know that.
I remember the trumpet arc.
Yeah. I think I played up till like the pandemic, like senior year.
Okay. Wow.
Trumpet and did some jazz band and things like that.
Nice.
But you asked about musical taste. It's kind of weird. Like I can almost kind of figure like the different parts of my life so far as like eras of
like your music taste
of music. Yeah. So
that's
like,
awesome.
Like my first CD was Justin Bieber.
Whoa.
My World 2.0. It was like it was the only thing I wanted for my birthday, and it came with like a little. It was like a poster of like little mini people that were fans of Justin Bieber and like put it into a big. That's all I remember about the CD. I'm sure the music wasn't that good, but there's a couple good bangers. Yeah, got into to rap in high school, and I don't know. It seems like now that I've been hanging out with you guys and all the awesome people here at the Com Building, it's kind of shift to like indie rock and. Some Ween. I've gotten to listen to Ween because of you, AJ.
It's a great time.
Thank you.
Yeah, really open to anything at this point. So
awesome.
I feel like we kind of had a switch sort of like music taste shift because like I was all into indie and stuff throughout high school, and then now I'm kind of getting into rap and I love it. So
yeah, it's cool.
We traded genres, James.
Yeah, it's like Olive Garden, like the taste of Italy, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
The taste of Westchester.
The taste of Westchester.
As an Italian, is that all that accurate or like?
That's actually pretty offensive, James. Don't say that.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm half Italian, AJ, so I can speak to half of that.
Kind of get away with it.
James.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes.
Your music taste. What albums did you bring me and AJ?
Yes. And what is your theme?
So I brought you guys 2 albums. One is by Mac Demarco.
Yep.
Called Salad Days. I believe it came out in 2014. And the other one's a little bit more recent with Daniel Caesar. It's called Never Enough. And the theme is that they're both Canadian.
Yeah.
So. Oh, okay.
Canadian artists.
I'm glad I know that now. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a surprise. The family album.
Surprise. But no, you really can't tell it. Like they don't really talk about like Tim Hortons or
maple syrup,
or maple syrup, like Moose or anything like
Mountain
that.
Policeman.
Nothing about Drake or anything.
They don't say a boot. They don't like enunciate that as much.
That's true.
To all of our Canadian listeners, we love you and we're sorry. Roast us for being dirty Philly people.
American, yeah. Dirty Philly, dirty New Jerseyan,
dirty Westchester.
The dirty Westchester sounds like a drink.
Oh, God.
I'll take a dirty Westchester.
Yeah.
It's just white privilege and vodka.
I want that on a shirt.
Anyway, James, what album would you like to start with this week?
I guess we could go in order of dates when I first listened to them.
Okay.
So let's start off with Mac Demarco.
Hell yeah,
a little
man.
Salad Days.
Salad Days.
Which is something that I don't even like, ironically. Salad.
Salad Days?
No, just
salad in general?
Just salad, yeah.
I see. As I've grown in my old age of 23, I've come around to salads.
Have you?
Yeah. I gotta appreciate the little things, before it's too late.
That's funny. I remember one time I went out to eat and they were like, super salad. I'm like, I'll take the soup. And this waitress kept begging me to take the salad. So she's like, what will it take for you to eat a salad? But I remember it was just lettuce and pepperoni.
Pepper in a salad?
In a salad.
What the
In a salad.
James, what hell world were you in? That's insane.
Lettuce and pepperoni. That's quite a meal there.
Woof. Oh, anyway, speaking of hell, this album was not hell. I actually quite enjoyed Salad Days by Mac
Thank you,
Demarco.
AJ.
Me too.
I'm glad to hear that.
So before I dive into this little history, I kind of want to give like a little background on my knowledge of Mac Demarco. I've always heard of him since high school, but I never like listened to his music. I know he was like kind of big on the internet, and I saw him on the Eric Andre show like first primarily. And he's also a guest star in one of my favorite videos of all time, Matt, as you know, River Crack by Two Wet Crew.
I didn't even fucking know that.
He plays the Crunchmeister.
Oh my god!
Go check it out. One of my favorite videos.
I think my album ranking just dropped by like 2 or 3.
Nah, you'll love it. If you're anything like me, if you like weird, off the wall, crazy shit, you'll enjoy. But anyway, Salad Days was released April 1st, 2014 on Captured Records, I believe. Captured Tracks Records. I can't read my handwriting, so I'll put that in the description if it's wrong. But it is the second album of Canadian indie artist Mac Demarco, who began his career around 2008 after graduating. Salad Days served as a slight transition as he focused more on his personal life in a more intimate way than the goofy stuff that came before. But there is a nice balance between kind of goofy and intimate, which I feel like he has a really nice combo between that.
Yeah, you summed that up. You summed that up really nicely, AJ.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it. I hope so. We're 2 seasons in. But shall we get started? Or we got any brief intro thoughts before we dive in?
No, I'm really eager to start talking about this record.
All right, tight. So we start off with the title track, Salad Days. I think 1, it's a good opener, and 2, I think it's pretty deserving of the title of a title track.
Right away, I really just want to say with the production, like it kind of gives me like a modern Beatles kind of vibe.
Okay.
Where they have like different shit going on in the channels, but with like,
totally.
typical like band setup instruments. Like you got the drums like over in the left, like a lot of the time.
Cars in the right.
Then you got like a lot of like bass lines just sort of like underneath. And then there's a beautiful song that has a really amazing synth key part that I am so eager to talk about. But I really love the production all across the board on this record. It really just provides for a very nice music listening experience.
I would absolutely agree with that. And I think also complementing that production is Mac Demarco as a personality. I feel like if I were to sum him up to just like a beginner, it's kind of like if Gene Ween was in Simon and Garfunkel.
I literally thought Simon and Garfunkel like esque sort of music style. Like that's a good way to describe it too, because his voice is quite versatile.
Yeah. James, what are your thoughts on Salad Days?
Yeah, I think it's a great opening. I mean, Mac doesn't waste any time. It's kind of right from the beginning. I think he has a great way of taking these like simple lyrics and kind of putting them together into making something that's a little bit more deeper. I've always believed there's an old saying, and I'm probably butchering this, but like, simple is better than, shallow and complex. Yeah. And I think he really speaks to that in this song and his whole discography and album. Yeah.
One more thing I was just going to say, like, I really love the way that he like flips between like his falsetto and his mix.
Yeah.
A lot on the la la la's. Something about that really just kind of scratches an itch on my brain.
Yeah.
Overall, just a really vibey song and on a very vibey album, as we'll find.
Really sets the tone, I'd say.
Totally.
It does. Yeah.
But AJ, you're wearing blue right now.
That's true, and I am a boy.
So this next track is just for you.
You're there with a song for me.
This is called Blue Boy, and I really love the guitars on this one.
Dude. So fucking good.
They're so clean. Like it reminds me a lot of Paul Simon's like. What's the one album, the You Can Call Me Al album?
Graceland?
Yeah. The guitars remind me like so much of like a lot of the
the like, slidey stuff.
Like he does it so well too.
I know.
It's really nice and clean, and God, I love the way that the drums on this track especially, they're so present but like so unimposing at the same time. Yeah. It's a very, very delicate balance that I really think he captures here.
Totally. I think going back to what James said, going for a more simple yet deep. I think that like it's perfectly encapsulated here. Like even though it's a simple setup with just like, you know, your basic instruments and like really, really basic short songs in terms of structure, it's still like is always really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure like some I'll have like notes down the line could develop from like having like a bridge or something, but even then it's just like chill indie psychedelic pop, and he does that sound really well. And I love like kind of like the idea of the song too, where it's just like talking about how teenagers are like the fucking worst and just like telling them to stop complaining.
Yeah, it's a great song. I feel like I could like I listened to this in my salad days, like middle school and high school and growing up. Like I could kind of relate to like you know, just kind of these worries that you have, and then people are like, "Yo, like shut the fuck up, like don't
you're 12,
don't worry about this, right?"
Exactly.
Like taxes, right?
Exactly. But yeah, the guitar riff is fucking immaculate. I love his vocal delivery here, especially during the chorus. And it's one of my favorite tracks on the album. Next up, we got Brother, kind of bringing things down a little bit on this one. And I think, like most of the tracks on the album, it's pretty solid.
It is. And like, I feel like a lot of the comparisons I made across the board is like a lot of 60s, maybe like early 70s sort of like rock setup. Like I mentioned, like kind of the Beatles. Well, they're more 50s into 60s. But like, I really like comparing it to Velvet Underground.
Okay.
Because you got a lot of this bass that's like just really, really there. And I think I like that. But like, it's clean though.
Exactly.
It's like Velvet Underground if they tried to do stuff modern.
Yeah.
And they just kind of sing whatever, you know? I also really like the fact that when he's singing, like the vocals are like an octave apart.
Yeah.
Because that's like a unique sort of arrangement style too. Because you got like the lower version of the melody than the higher. And it kind of gives it like a nice little like, I don't know. It feels more solid, more set. Something about that is just very, very nice.
I also kind of like here, like the little outro they have there. I think it kind of gives like a little more diversity in terms of its sound. It's kind of like a little more out there, experimental with like the warbly kind of instrumentals, and it just kind of like letting it ring out before it goes into the next song. I think that's like a cool kind of like nice little addition to this track that makes it stand out.
Yeah, it's a vibe of a song. I forgot to say this at the beginning of the show here, but Mac Demarco calls this album, he calls it Jizz Jazz.
Jizz Jazz
is the the name of the genre.
I see. Is he talking about like the Star Wars music genre of jizz, or like the one that we're oh so familiar with?
You know what? I wish I had Mac Demarco on the phone,
That's
but
true. That's true.
In various interviews, when people have asked him about the album, like how would you describe it in 2 words?
Could you imagine just somebody on the phone being like,
"Oh, Mac, how's the album going?" Yeah, interesting. You call it what? Could you just repeat that? Like,
I can just imagine him like pitching this album to like the record company or something, trying to get a deal. And I wonder if that's the thing that
You
sold
like
them.
jazz? You like jazz?
it's like jazz, but it's jizz. Like, you get it? Like,
Oh, Mac, you silly guy.
well, hopefully out of all these instruments, he didn't play the skin flute. That's all I need to know.
That's true. Amen. All right. Next up, we have Let Her Go, which is one of the few tracks about Mac Demarco's girlfriend getting deported.
Yes.
Very fascinating topic indeed.
Yeah. Very shitty situation. Sorry that had to happen. Again, very chill, vibey track. Like a lot of these tracks, even though there's not a lot going on, you still kind of appreciate them. It's kind of hard to differentiate them at some points, but I still feel like it always fits the overall vibe. Like vibe is like the main word I would use to describe this album. It's very chill. You just kind of get like lost in it.
Yeah, no, for sure. The bass is terrific on this track in particular. There's another track later down the line where it has like a pattern that I really, really like.
Yeah.
But it's so like smooth and rounded and like really substantial.
Yeah.
And I love the way the guitars in each channel feel like they're like having a conversation.
Yeah, because there's like the upbeats. Yeah.
You kind of hear something in the left, hear something in the right. Like I don't know. It's nice.
I also like how there's kind of like a style shift in the chorus where it sounds like kind of different from the verse. It's like a nice little change up. I like the message. I think it's done pretty well.
I agree. Yeah, you guys took the words out of my mouth on that one. That's funny. We have an album club like this with my family, and we do an album every week, and it's funny. Like I'm usually like the last one to log on, so I'm usually the one that goes last, and they're like, "So James, you have anything to say?" I'm like, "Everything you guys said is exactly what I just said,
and more,
just trying to sum it all up." But yeah, this is a great great song. Nice vibe. I almost think of these songs as like little mini like haikus.
Honestly, yeah, because they're all like really short for the most part.
Yeah, yeah.
But sometimes like less is more. You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
I feel like one thing this album does well, especially lyrically, is sort of like lie heavily on the simplicity, because like you don't need to say so much,
Especially for like kind of like the ideas and topics he's talking about. It creates more of an intimate kind of feeling throughout the rest of the album, especially with this like kind of like low-key, lo-fi sound. And I think it just works pretty well.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have Goodbye Weekend. I quite enjoy this one. I said it sounds slimy, and I like it.
No, for real. Like about the guitar work, like his pitch bending ability, like you know how like you guitar players can sort of like bend the string a little bit and kind of goes like like a little bit. Well, not like that, but like, you know,
use your imagination,
just
family
imagine it,
heads.
guys.
Yeah.
But like I feel like that's the cleanest I've ever heard any guitar player do that.
Yeah.
Like it's wavering between like notes, but it's like so clean, and like I don't know, just the way he slides and like bends the string. Like I gotta admire, like he's pretty skilled at that.
Do you know if he plays guitar or if he has like guitarists in the band?
No, he plays guitar.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
That's all him. Yeah.
Very cool. I like the syncopation of the guitars a lot on this track, especially the way that they play with the channels. And there's like a nice little guitar solo at the end too.
Oh, there is, yeah.
which is like, it's like, fuck yeah, a little more on top of that.
Yeah, it's cool. He makes a number of like instrumental albums as well, and it's almost like, you know, this guitar is almost like an extension of his voice. Like the inflection of the guitar, the inflection of the notes, which I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a talent to have.
Absolutely. I
No,
mean,
for real.
He did release that 8-9 hour album in 2023.
Yes, yeah, about 125 tracks
something,
or
an absurd amount.
No
something
fucking way.
crazy.
Actually,
Yeah.
No promo, no nothing. Just dropped it. I don't even know if it was on a Friday, but just dropped this.
Yeah, let it go.
Massive. I think it was.
It was like a lot of demos mostly.
Yeah. I think it was all the cuts that like didn't make his albums in years past, but I think the point of the album was kind of to show like his progression, you know, his inflection, his guitar work between
like from when he started to
from
now.
when he started till now, and it is pretty cool to see, you know, some of the beginning tracks, you know, where it's more of a simple guitar riff to, you know, track, you know, 123 or something like that, where it's a lot more, you know, complex. So
true. But yeah, the history of Mac Demarco goes back surprisingly long.
yes, yeah.
one last thing I want to just say about like the way he kind of writes lyrics too, because I feel like it's so simple yet so substantial, I'd say. I really like the way that he like addresses himself and people in his lyrics, like referring to himself as Mackie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, something about
Mackie's
that.
been a bad boy.
I don't know, something about that has like a bit of a charm to it.
Exactly. Makes it feel a lot more personal.
Exactly.
And speaking of personal, we have another song about Mac's girlfriend getting deported. We have Let My Baby Stay, which is, again, a very sad story. This one gives you like a lot like major 70s vibes. This one really feels like Simon and Garfunkel to me because it's a lot more tender and intimate.
I can see that, yeah.
I especially love the use of percussion here because it's very subtle. It's just like a tapping bottle that like fluctuates between the channels, but I think it's just an awesome technique.
No, for sure. Especially not having like the drums be so, or not the drums, but like the percussion being so aggressive. It really does give a rather intimate vibe. You literally said everything that was in my notes.
Apologies.
It's okay. At least we're on the same track here.
Exactly. We are a hive mind here at the Family Album.
Yes, yeah.
You will be inducted, James.
Oh yeah, is there a family album? Is there like a Hall of Fame? Like, do you have like plaques like for the?
For like our favorite guests?
Yeah, for your favorite guests.
Well, we don't want to rank our friends, so no.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that'd be kind of.
Well, we can tell you this much. Tom, he's at the very bottom.
That's true, yeah. And he knows it.
He knows it.
That's good. This almost feels like a midpoint to the album. You know, just really taking this this drastic turn from kind of this signature, you know, Mac Demarco style on the guitar to kind of like a slower. The instruments on it almost sound like you're in like a nursery.
Like, okay.
Like the percussion, I feel like kind of like a soothing.
It's very gentle.
Feels very gentle and soothing, but you know, definitely different from you know, the other 11 tracks on this album.
Totally.
But I like the change of pace.
I agree. I feel like when you start to feel like kind of fatigue of like the same sound, Mac does really know when to switch things up.
Yeah.
Which is definitely seen a lot later on a track that I really fucking love, and I think I know which one you're talking about before. But yeah, this is like probably the closest thing to like a ballad on here, and I think it works really well.
It does. It's definitely serviceable for what it's trying to achieve.
Absolutely.
I also really like the way that he describes like loving his girlfriend as like an addiction.
Yeah.
Something about that is just like really sweet.
Next up, we have Passing Out Pieces. I quite like this song.
This is my favorite track on the album.
Nice.
It is, it's the shit. Like, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, man.
The synthesizers just like ringing in the right channel, just all bright and chorusy, and they play off the drums like so well, again in the left channel. Then like the guitar is just like absolutely taking charge, like somewhere in the middle, like, oh my God. And I love the way that the bass line, which is so particular, by the way, it plays every single beat except for like 2 and 3. And something about that, I'm just like, wow. It feels like really intentionally and just like this feels like an opus almost.
Definitely.
I just love it. Everything about just that has like an 8-bit charm with a bit of indie sleaze.
Absolutely.
It's just man, like this is, I listen to this and it just is immediately like this is the shit.
Yeah.
This is the shit right here.
Like when I first like listened to this track, I wrote it down as like a jump scare when those synths came in. I was like, holy shit.
No, for real. Yeah,
I wasn't
that's
expecting
true.
that. But it has like almost kind of like a Tame Impala kind of vibe, like this like really psychedelic kind of like flavorful track.
Yeah.
And I also really like this track. Like I added it to a playlist today while I was re-listening to it.
Yeah, it's a real knee tapper.
As all of us DeMarc heads say.
The knee tapper.
Anything else?
No, I quite adore this track and I can't wait to listen to it more.
All right. Next up, we have Treat Her Better, which is a really dark kind of song.
Yeah.
It's about which is about sadly domestic abuse and kind of Mac Demarco dealing with I guess interacting with a friend who has been accused of like domestic abuse and kind of how to like go about that situation. So you know, it's a darker track, but even then, it still sounds like the pleasant vibey instrumental that we've heard before. So it's a cool juxtaposition that we've heard, and it's a cool seeing him kind of balance that on this track.
For real. The weird thing about this song is the guitars on the part where it's like Treat Her Better or Treat Her Better Boy. Sorry. It reminds me of the one Sugar Ray song Fly.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
It sounds like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
And I was like, wait, you have that kind of similar, and the song's about what? Treat her better. No, that's terrible. But anyway, yeah, no, I that was honestly kind of a surprise to me, like the topic. I mean,
Yeah.
especially since like he juxtaposes it with such like really happy sounding like, instrumental.
It's very dark, but I think he kind of like navigates the issue very well. I also like how the switch over, as family heads know, I love me some ride cymbal. I'm a ride cymbal stan. So whenever I hear it in there and it sounds nice and crisp and smooth and swishy, god fucking damn it, I'm in.
He does it a lot in his choruses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, his choruses fucking rule on this
do.
album. They're so catchy, so hooky.
And the melodies are like so intuitive, yet like so like simple and unique. They're like intuitive and simple, but like uniquely their own.
Exactly.
Yeah, he has a great way of like being like goofy, like that's kind of his whole persona, but also writing these songs like about, you know,
serious
issues. And it's kind of funny, like when you listen to the song the first time, like I don't know about you, but like the first time I'm more listening to like the melody and the beats and stuff like that. So you think like Matt, like you said, you know, it's more of an upbeat song, and then you hear the lyrics and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Next up, we have probably one of my favorite tracks, if not my favorite. We have Chamber of Reflection. This is like one of his biggest songs.
Pretty much
there.
like the biggest song.
Yeah.
This one appeared to me like thank you Spotify DJ, but this one was one that I'd already surprisingly had listened to before apparently.
Okay.
Because it was already liked.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I liked it.
Thanks, Mac.
I liked it the first time and I liked it the second time. It's good. The organ, that is some good stuff right there.
Yeah, that fucking hook is so good. It's based off of a song by a Japanese artist. I didn't look at the pronunciation beforehand. Shigeo Sakito. If not, I'll write that in the description.
That sounded good, AJ.
Thank you. But it's basically like that riff is from that song, and he's playing it himself in like his own kind of style, and I think it's really fucking awesome. Almost has like a vaporwavy kind of vibe, which I dig a lot.
No, for real. Speaking of vaporwave, did I tell you that Floral Shoppe was remastered recently?
You did tell me recently. I have yet to check it out, but I'm very excited.
It's fantastic.
Hell yeah.
I've listened to the first 5 or 6 tracks, and let me tell you, I was just like I couldn't believe how much like sound they got out of it.
Did Vectroid do it herself, or was this like a fan project?
I believe it might have been a fan project, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. I definitely need to listen to that because that's one of our favorite albums from this show.
It's definitely one of my favorite albums of all time now.
Also, one of our earliest episodes. If you want to check that out, episode 3.
James, do you have anything to say about Chamber of Reflection? I know it's just one of his most popular songs of all time.
Yeah, I'm going to go with AJ here too, not to, piggyback off you. This isn't like my family's album club, I'm like, hey, everything you just said. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite songs on the album. It's one of those songs like where I wish I was able to re-listen to it the first time again.
Yeah.
Just because of like this awesome like experience, like it's almost like you're hallucinating.
Yeah, it's very spacey.
Yeah, if you listen to it like on headphones, but yeah, I relate to this song a lot. Just like when you need to just kind of being with yourself and kind of reflecting on everything that happened. So it's a cool. It almost for me it kind of gives off like I'm like a carnival, like carnival music, but like
oh yeah,
messed up carnival music. Like it more of a dark.
Twisted carnival music.
Carnival
like a
music.
washed out, like used to be hip happening, and then now it's like kind of
Now when you go on the scrambler, it's like slowing down.
Yeah, exactly. You get stuck there for a couple hours. The fire department actually has to get you out, and then you're there for hours and hours and hours, and you.
And all you hear is Mac Demarco in the background.
You hear the echoes of Chamber of Reflection echoing in your mind as you're sitting there
contemplating.
That's gotta be a nightmare of a song to listen to on repeat. I keep thinking of like the John Mulaney, like the Salt and Pepper Diner, where it's just Tom Jones's What's New Pussycat, just on and on and on.
Chamber of Reflection, but you're stuck in a scramble.
Well, maybe for somebody this is the What's New Pussycat of somebody's life.
Yes,
but not for me because this song fucking rips.
It's pretty good.
I love it.
It's pretty good.
Next up we have Go Easy. We're back to that kind of twangy folk sound we've been hearing all throughout. I feel like it's nothing that I'm like too crazy about. I feel like it's fine enough for what it is. Here I feel like, we kind of could have benefited from a little more development in some of these tracks because like not a lot of these tracks have like bridges or like solos.
Yeah.
They're very, very samey with just verse, chorus, verse, chorus. But even then it still works for the most part. I just feel like by the end I'm kind of like, okay, I could use like a little more variety. Because there's nothing like to stand out in this track for me, at least.
I totally agree with that. And I think like with this track and the next track personally, I just was kind of feeling like, yeah, this is very, very pleasant. I think it was executed pretty good, but just maybe like a little bit more of like differentiation.
Yes,
possibly.
totally.
I feel like it's kind of similar to like what we thought about like Alex G. Like we very much listen to that episode with our very special guest, Andrew Marshall from season 1. That was a fun one. That was Alex G. And it was Gods of the Animals and
Twin Fantasy.
Yeah. Two also very pretty enjoyable albums, I'd say.
I've come around to Twin Fantasy a little more.
I always kind of liked it, honestly. It was pretty fun. But
we're not talking about those two fucking albums.
Exactly. So we got to go easy. We got to go easy.
Oh, that was nice. That was nice, Matt.
Yeah, it's a pretty good track. Nothing really stands out to me that much compared to the rest. Do you have anything to say about it, James?
Yeah, I feel like this is almost like a Let Her Go 2.0, kind of on the same wavelength there. I know. Yeah, I think this might have been a little bit more of a filler song.
Yeah, as we approach the end.
As we approach the end there, I think, maybe you should have pulled up a couple things from One Wayne G, his 122 song album. Maybe something else would have fit better in there.
He had options. A lot of them.
A lot of them.
How fucking funny would it be if we did like a tier list of like all the songs on it?
Honestly, that's good content.
Oh God.
Back pocket. You're copywriting that now. You can't take that.
Exactly.
If you don't, tell my dad.
He owns Nintendo,
He owns Mac Demarco, bro. He works for Mac Demarco.
I don't really have much else to say about this track.
No.
All right. Then we close out the album with Jonny's Odyssey, a nice little instrumental kind of track that, fits the vibe. Nothing too inherently special, but there's a nice little kind of spoken word section at the very end where Mac just, thanks the listener for listening to the album, which really encapsulates the intimate vibe.
There are little moments on this record where he kind of just like will speak at the end of a take. And I think that kind of also adds to the album's sort of like personality. So it was very, very nice just sort of have a nice candid moment. Like, hey, thanks guys.
This has been Mackie Boy.
He doesn't have to keep thanking me every time I listen to the album. Once is enough.
That's true, Mac. Okay, that's like kind of weird, dude.
I again, instrumentally, it's kind of just like the same as what like I'd been hearing before.
Yeah.
But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Well, I guess with nothing else left to say,
Yeah.
we can move on to our final thoughts. So, James, what did you think about Salad Days?
Salad Days, one of my favorite albums, AJ, just brings back a lot of nostalgia, as does, Mac's guitar playing. I feel like even when I get old and I hear that guitar riff, that signature Mac sound, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Nice. Hell yeah.
I think that's very justified.
Absolutely.
This is definitely like a pillar in a lot of indie right now.
I think so, yeah.
I'd say, according to my one friend, Alec, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
No, this is like a very much like a staple, I think, in the indie
scene.
genre, but more on like the acoustic sort of side, I'd say.
So what are your thoughts?
I like this album's level of brevity. I think it very much like supports the runtime of it being like 30 something minutes.
Yeah.
And like the content and stuff like that. All the melodies, like I said before, they're intuitive but like uniquely their own. And you pay attention to like the style and see how much of like a musician's vocalist I think he is. Because like his voice isn't like anything like, like terrific.
Yeah.
But like he still can do a lot. You know what I mean? Like I think I compare it a lot to like sort of like George Harrison and like Paul Simon, how they kind of would handle things. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of in this like reserved sort of like manner. And I mean, George Harrison definitely was a better vocalist than Paul Simon, without a doubt.
Yeah.
He had a very fucking high range. But I mean, like, I don't know, you can kind of just picture him like you would picture one of them, just sort of leaning back in like a chair, just sort of like playing guitar, something just kind of like nice and pleasant and just, full of personality. And yeah, no, I think that's exactly what this album has. It's a lot of personality and a nice way that they kind of executed it. So this is a live ranking, so I didn't write it down.
Ooh.
Let's see. I gotta say, in terms of enjoyment and overall like execution, and I'd say like even like studio mixing, because I really like the way it's mixed.
Yeah.
It's got that sort of
very
Beatlesy charm.
retro.
Exactly. I gotta give this like a solid like 8.6.
Nice.
And then like a high B.
Hell yeah.
It's very, very nice. I would recommend this to anybody who just kind of wants like a nice sort of
Chill, vibey album. Yeah, I pretty much agree with you guys. This album, I was very impressed. I kind of wish I got into Mac Demarco a little sooner after knowing him for
There's
so
still
long.
time,
Fucking
AJ.
too,
There's
man.
still time.
Yeah.
me fucking too. Like I genuinely enjoyed this.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to more of his stuff. But this was an incredibly pleasant listen, front to back. As you said, like with the brevity, I think he utilizes all of his time very wisely. And when you start like kind of getting fatigued or like it starts overstaying its welcome, it knows when to end. It knows when to switch things up. I think it could benefit a little more from kind of switching things up a little more with, especially structurally with the songs.
Yeah.
That could have kind of helped a lot, but instrumentally, it's fantastic. Mac is just such a fun personality, kind of blending the silliness of Ween with like the tenderness of Simon and Garfunkel. And I feel like it was just a really enjoyable album that I was honestly very happy to listen to. So I'd give this like a B+, A-.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad.
But James,
Yes,
we
yes.
enjoyed the album.
Yes.
We really, really did. However, it's not just like the one album show. We
Right.
need
No.
two
Right.
albums.
But wait, there's more.
There is more.
We got to talk about Never Enough by Daniel Caesar.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
I'd say this one was pretty interesting.
Yes. I will get into my thoughts later. I overall enjoyed it.
Me too.
But I had some issues with it.
I'd say same. Yeah. Should I just dive into the history while we're on a roll?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Well, Never Enough by Daniel Caesar is his third studio album. Fun fact, it was mostly recorded during quarantine. So
Gosh, I'm one of those. Nah, I'm kidding. The
yeah.
pandemic sucked ass. I understand.
no, like I think that definitely kind of you could definitely hear that, especially in a lot of the mixing. You
Yeah.
got a lot of different like textures of like presets going on.
Yeah, man.
Which I'll get into in a bit. Because I think it works in some places and kind of doesn't in other places.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was released on April 7th, 2023, which I did not expect it to be so recent.
Yeah, so it made my list of albums.
Let's see. It was released through Republic Records. It's got, I got a shit ton of producers to read.
Go off then.
Well, he produced it himself. The one is out of the way. Ace G, Bad, Not Good.
Oh,
which
fuck
I could
yeah.
not believe that counterculture jazz group just fucking like
That's so crazy.
like I know, right? That's crazy.
Yo, those guys rip.
They are very good.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about them. Anyway, they're kind of up there with like Hiatus Coyote for me. Like I have like a whole playlist of like counterculture. Anyway, so Matthew Burnett. I do not know how to pronounce this. Sayu.
I'm not sure.
Sayeux.
Description. Oh.
It's like Cyeux.
Cyeux. Siu? I don't think that's right. Siu.
Bless you. Bless Caillou. Yeah, fucking Rosie on this album. Anyway, that's his sister.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Thank you for the Caillou lore.
Nobody laughed, so I was like, oh, okay, nobody gets it. But it's all right. Jordan Evans, Chris Jennings, someone named Rami, Mark Ronson,
Okay.
Very cool. Wow, I did not know that.
Sasha Rudy, Raphael Sadiq, Sir Dylan, and Sir Nolan, Zachary Simmons, Simon on the Moon, which was another one that was very surprising to me, and Seven Thomas.
Oh,
It's Seven spelled like Sevn Thomas.
Cute.
But yeah, this is a very this was an interesting album to listen to, and I think we should just jump right in so that we can sort of unravel our thoughts.
Sounds good. So we start off with Ocho Rios. I think this is solid enough for an opener. Weirdly enough, parts of this album gave me Quebec vibes by Ween in terms of the production and vocal stylings.
There is a song on here that reminds you of Captain.
Yep, we'll get to that.
You fucking know what it is. I literally wrote, I was like, it's so weird that you said that, because I was like, I wonder if I'm going to sound crazy thinking it sounds like Ween. But yeah, Ocho Rios, I think it is a pretty decent opener. I feel like with the amount of like different textures of like sounds you hear, it makes sense that Bad Bad Not Good would be
definitely
on here.
Yeah. One thing I'll say about Daniel Caesar, at least from like my first impressions of this album, he's fantastic at writing choruses.
Yes.
My God, like that is the strongest part of this whole album. Like that's just when everything hits. It's when he utilizes his vocal range the most. And I feel like a good example is here. I really love the drums on this track, and I love the harmonies and layered vocals as well.
I love how the drums, like the fourth crash swallows up beat one. Something about that, I was like, wow, that's a really, really nice detail. Makes it feel like it's like kind of like living, like kind of an entity almost as a track.
Yeah, I think it's a great opener too. I think before this album and other albums before, I think he was a gospel singer, like at his church.
Okay.
So I can kind of see some of the gospel vibes in his singing, and obviously throughout the album there. But
it is organ heavy, so I can definitely see that.
Yes, yeah. But I think it's a great track to start the album with. Very slow, very simple. Melody and lyrics, and I really enjoyed it. Definitely probably my least favorite out of all the songs on the album.
Okay. Interesting.
There is a bit of a track run, I feel like, on this record. I don't remember exactly where it is, but like there's a bit of like a run of tracks where I'm like, this is good.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the first half.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was definitely first half.
The mood definitely starts to shift and gets a little bit darker in the second, as we'll get into.
But Valentina.
I really like this track a lot. This one's awesome. A really awesome follow-up.
The synth pads, like, don't get me wrong, they're very like spacious and airy, but they have like a blocky sound to them. And I think it's like because they come in all at once, like on the beat.
Yeah.
So it feels like a wall. You know what I mean? Like they're just like bam. but reverb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
God, is it so fucking smooth. My Lord.
Good usage of channels. Valentina, this is going to be kind of a weird take. I feel like this is what Childish Gambino wanted Awaken My Love to sound like. Like, genuinely, I feel like he wanted it to sound more like this and a couple other tracks. I do like this one, though. I was really surprised by, like, the overall sound of this.
Yeah, I really like the keys on this track a lot. Like, the way they just fucking wail is just so tough.
Yeah.
And his voice, like, I think really, like, here kind of really exemplifies kind of like the sultry, I would say, like, the gospel element as well. Like, he just knows how to just fucking sing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is Daniel Caesar at his best. Really, really great lyrics. I love the make you mine. Like, that's almost like his signature, like holding out the notes, which he does a lot in this track. And I like it.
It's a lot of fun. Good hook.
I agree.
Next up, we have Toronto 2014. I'm not the biggest fan of this one.
I like the usage of sort of like a knock for like the beat.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like a you know
the
what
aux
I mean?
percussion.
The piano is really like nice and lush, which I do really like. He has a lot. I like his usage of like upright or like whatever kind of like actual piano it is, but you can tell it's like a real one, which I love when artists do that. Like even if it sounds like the crummiest, like not best microphone recorded, like at all angles, sort of like recording of piano. Like I love the usage of real piano
music. It's a nice classic
music.
style.
For real, it is, and I think that's something I liked about this track. It's very well rounded. there's a nice synergy between like the tight vocals in the beginning and then the beat and then the piano.
Yeah.
They all play off each other very, very well. And then I love toward the end when there's sort of like this more spacious feeling on like the ahs and stuff like that and the backing vocals. So overall, I actually really, really like this one.
Okay. There's definitely like elements on here that I like a lot. As you said, the percussion is very unique for this track, and definitely for this album as well. I like how kind of like muffled in the background it is, but it still kind of like keeps the song moving. I like the acoustic guitar in the intro. I think it's really nice, and I really like how the bass stands out a lot on this track as well. Really kind of giving it a chance to shine. I'm not huge on Mustafa's feature. I think it's a little lackluster, especially compared to others on the album. And just kind of like the overall vibe I wasn't really into. Though it did remind me of The Ambassador.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely, I didn't write that down, but I can definitely see like Gabriel Kahane like sort of feel to this. Absolutely. And I think this is one of the only instances where like the texture, I keep saying different textures of like presets, but it's the best way I can describe it. Yeah. It's like a cake with like different, like, you know what I mean?
Little layers.
Exactly, exactly. I feel like on this one, it works better than like other instances because there are definitely some like other recording styles and textures in the presets and like effects where it definitely does not work that great.
Yeah.
Like it sounds very like, it very much kind of like hits you.
And it's like, oh, this doesn't blend.
Yeah, exactly. There's like not a great amount of blend for some of them. But in this one, I think it did the best it could.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't one of my favorites on the album either. I agree with you, AJ, on the Mustafa feature.
Thank you.
It almost sounds a little bit like Daniel, but just like a lower version of him. Just not like too much like voice inflection as much as I would have expected. But I feel like on the chorus, their voices kind of blend together. I think it's
and it's hard to tell them apart.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is almost hard to tell them apart. But I think, you know, separate, not that good. But when they come together, I think it's a beautiful piece of art. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Shall we move on to number 4?
That's good with me.
Let Me Go is the 4th track. It's so funny. We have a lot of like, let me, let her, like, you know what I mean? Like
that should have been the theme, you know?
That's true.
Letting go.
Letting go.
I like the organs on here. And I think his voice has a really sweet quality on this track that that is really, really like emphasized.
Especially during the chorus when he just like lets his high range just fucking go off.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. The build up in the pre-chorus.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Love the little 6/10 note drum beat as well. Goddamn.
Really just gets you excited. Just like, what's going to happen next? You know? Like,
yeah.
Where are we going next, Mr. Peabody?
Why would you let me go, Mr. Peabody?
Don't make me listen to Bastille, Mr. Peabody.
That's fucking true.
It's so funny. Like, we talked about the pipeline of Mr. Peabody and Sherman fans.
True.
I talked about that with Andrew Marshall, going back to his sort of, you know, you guys know who he is.
His episode.
Yeah, exactly. It's relevant. It's relevant. But no.
Yes, we call that Chekhov's gun in storytelling.
We are able to reference him at any point because he was on our show. No, I was talking to him about that, and he was like, "You're so right, though. Like that's the first time I heard Pompeii by Bastille." But anyway, we're not talking about Pompeii by Bastille. We're talking about Let Me Go. One last thing I'll say: I love just the wavering. Like is there a Wurlitzer on this album?
I don't know. So, fun fact: when I first listened to this album, I was on a plane coming home from Nashville, so I didn't really get to pick up on a lot of the intricacies of the production. And upon re-listen, I was at work, so I also didn't get to pick up on the intricacies of the production. So I couldn't really tell you. I just know that the keys always sound really good.
There definitely was like a wavering, like oscillation of some kind with like the kind of like with the, you know, with the keys. So I think I really, really like that too. Yeah. It gave it some movement.
Definitely.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites on the album. I love to listen to this like when I'm driving for some reason. It almost feels like I'm like falling. In a way,
yeah.
I guess the way the chorus,
the way it flows,
and things like that. But yeah, this is great. Daniel Caesar, I feel like he has a great way of taking these complicated things about relationships and kind of making them simple, like kind of simplifying it, making it more poetic, relatable. Yeah, relatable. So.
Yeah, absolutely. One last thing I'll say, I really love the drum beat on this track.
Yes,
it was pretty good. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It skips the snare on 4 every 2 measures, which is just like oh, you're making me fucking wait for it, Danny. It's like,
okay. Oh man, good thing comes to those who wait. AJ,
exactly.
So. Making me like you after all. Since you're asking so damn much. Anyway.
Matt, you know what? I do like you, but do you like me?
I'll tune in next episode to find out. But anyway.
The answer is no.
I like the guitar. It's like on the far end of like both channels where it's kind of interesting. Like I feel like in a lot of songs that kind of have it like where you have a guitar that's like between both channels. Yeah. This one, it's like so far in between both channels, like really to the left and
really
like
to the right.
Really to the right. It's really interesting, but
I especially like how they blend that with like the acoustic guitar that comes back in the verses. Very, very nice.
Dude, that walking bass line reminds me of fucking Thundercat.
I was gonna say that.
It fucking reminds me of Thundercat. I was like, oh hell yeah.
On What's the Use? Did you ever hear that one with
What's the Use?
With Mac Miller? He has like a funky
I did
beat.
not.
Yeah, but that's the Thundercat it reminds me.
I was thinking of the one where it's like
them changes.
Yeah. Nobody move. Like I was thinking of that one. But yeah, I really thought like, man, that's like Thundercat core right there.
Yeah.
But so I think this is a pretty serviceable track that I ended up liking a lot. I need to call out a lyric though.
Okay. Yeah.
At first I was fucking your friend. I was fucking your friend, but I wanted you. Fellas, I've been there. No, I'm joking. Yeah, at first I was fucking your friend, but I wanted you.
All right, Dan. So going back to what we said was relatable, maybe not in all cases.
Yes. Dan's a player. You got to give it to him.
True. I will say the chorus sounds like kind of childish, which I praise his choruses for just like the way that they're always like really hooky and like the best part of the song. Not here, in my opinion. I feel like it's one of his weaker ones, but the overall song's pretty nice. I really love the guitar tone. It reminded me of Beach Weather, surprisingly enough.
I did think that too.
Yeah.
A lot of references that we're making with this.
I know, we're just so fucking big, we can reference ourselves now.
I guess we just listen to too much indie.
Or that too.
Nah, there's no such thing as too much indie.
But I will say on the second chorus, there's just a really just fucking nice moment when those synths come in and it just fucking, and Daniel Caesar just like reaches up there with his high range that was just like a huge moment. I was like, okay, yeah. Okay, we're back. We're so back. We are so back.
I don't really have much else to say about this track. It was pretty good. It's pretty good for the fifth track.
Yeah, I think this song is great too. I love the guitar like in the middle, kind of sets the mood. There, I agree. The lyrics are a little bit, when you listen to the first time, you're like, wow, that shit's really deep, and then you hear it again, it's just, do you really like me? Do you really like me? It's like, dude, go away.
Stop. Ew.
It reminds me of like my 5th grade crush, like where you would write something on a sheet of paper. Yes or no.
No, Danny, I don't.
You're like, did it get delivered? Can you send me like a read receipt or, just make sure I got it?
Song by the band Wolfpack that's all about that concept, actually.
Do you like Wolfpack?
I do like Wolfpack.
I love Wolfpack.
They're a big band for me in high school.
They're a big band for me now.
Hot loser. I'm kidding. Wolfpack is very, very, very good. Very, very well beloved in the community.
They're cool. But anyway, Daniel Caesar.
He's always with us.
Yes,
Daniel.
That is the name of the next track. Number 6. Always. Those keys are clean.
Yeah, man. This has kind of like an almost like very retro style, like kind of 60s R&B with like the flow and his delivery. It's a lot more intimate. I said it's like kind of like Ed Sheeran meets Lizzie McAlpine in terms of like the overall style. It has a very slow start, but like once it gets going, and I fucking like it.
Those drums, man.
Yeah, dude.
God damn. Subtle enough, but like still give the track enough weight to feel like, fulfilling, I'd say.
Definitely.
And like they syncopate the melody like really well.
There's like a little accent break that happens during the second verse where like it's like the vocals complement the instrumental before like everything drops out and then starts back up again, which is really fucking nice.
I really like that. It was cool to pick up on that for sure.
I do really, really like that, Daniel. Thank you.
I always like it, Daniel. James, what do you like, dislike about this track?
This is a great song, always. I like to always listen to this. Okay.
God damn it! You hear that? I gotta catch all those crickets.
Can we put like a laugh track in there? Make sure.
It'll cost you extra.
Okay. All right. Going all the way back to the Tonight Show age.
It's the idea that we're paying that James is paying us to be on here. We're taking his money to be on here. Yeah, guys, get in line. You gotta get on here. You gotta pay for it.
Dude, we got fucking Mac Demarco waiting to come on.
But yeah, this is one of those songs I feel like it's hard not to sing. Like the chorus, it's very catchy, And I love like the I don't know if it's like a xylophone, but it's like the da-na, da-na in the beginning and the end. And that outro is really great. It, again, reminds me of like a gospel kind of thing. I think there's some tambourine in there. You know, just makes me sing. Oh,
some nice flavor instrumentation.
I'm
loving it. McDonald's right there, you know, just bought up.
I'm loving it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's like the restaurant, you know. Just
Guys, comment if you like McDonald's. Anyway, this song is a really nice bridge that I fuck with a lot. It really encapsulates that retro feeling throughout like most of this track, and there's some nice backup vocals that start each stanza that I just really fucking like. It's just an overall really good track. Quite enjoy.
I would agree. I would very much agree.
People have given it a lot of. I've seen online. A lot of people have given it a lot of criticism. They say it's
this
like
track?
they say it's like a cliche kind of love song. But
okay,
I really. Do you guys see that in it?
Not really. No, I mean, I didn't really pay attention that much lyrically.
So did I. Neither did I.
But I mean, hey, honestly, I think there's, even if like the lyrics are simple, like kind of like, you know, with
Mac Demarco.
Mac Demarco. I just forgot his fucking name. We just talked about him
30 minutes.
Yeah, really. No, like even with Mac Demarco, like I think if you have enough instrumentally going on, you don't need to say too much.
Yeah.
And you don't need to say anything like really different. Like I think musically this makes it interesting enough.
Agreed.
It doesn't always need to be fucking spectacular all across the board. You trade off in different areas.
Yeah.
It's push and pull.
It's ebb and flow. It's even flow.
Shall we just go on to the next track?
Next one is Cool. So this is the acoustic guitar comes back, which is a nice little change up. The backup vocals, again, fucking rip. This one has almost kind of like a rap flow, like a little triplet flow leading into the chorus, which is pretty cool. Kind of straying away from that R&B, going more hip hop. Again, the chorus is really good. There's some nice vibraphones in there that just really fucking set the tone, and I love that.
Yeah, this is a great song. It seems like he really toned it down in production from, you know, the last couple songs that we've heard here. It just seems like some simple piano, but I feel like the choice made for that was to kind of focus on the lyrics a little bit more, and his voice, which I think are pretty powerful in this song.
Yeah, especially when he's backed up by that string section that comes in towards
that
the
is
end.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I literally stopped what I was doing when because I was eating. I literally dropped my fork into my eggs, and it was like,
it was worth it. It was worth it.
This is a moment. This is a moment that you just provided me, Daniel.
Cool, Daniel.
Another one of those songs where I wish I heard the first time over again.
No, literally. I love when artists implement like a strong string section, even if it's for a couple seconds. Like, oh my God, strings can just convey so many things.
I know, man. And they definitely work out very well here, especially during the outro when it just kind of lets the strings kind of carry out the song. Very, very good track.
It almost kind of reminded me of like Eleanor Rigby a little bit with the strings, in a way, but just not as dramatic. You know, just more very somber and mellow.
Yeah, but still complimentary.
Yes,
I'd say also because that song's very string focused. This one's more piano focused, which I also really appreciate as a keyboard player. One last thing I'll say about this track, I like the description of stars behind his eyelids.
Yeah,
something about that. I'm just like. That's really well put. Yeah. Shall we go on to track number 8? Now, I have a question for both of you. Where in the track listing do you think the album starts to fall off a little bit?
I think after this track.
I would say the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I like this one personally.
Awesome. I do too. I was I knew it's around here, but I wasn't quite sure. This track is called Disillusioned, featuring Serpent with Feet. I like the bass line quite a lot on this track. It sounds very similar to kind of like Wolfpack, kind of like Louis Zong, who is Louis Zong is a really cool experimental like music arranger guy. Makes a lot of sort of like lo-fi sort of sounds, but cool. Like with different twists on them. Have you ever heard of what's it called? Ghost Duet
by Wolfpack?
Not by Wolfpack.
Just by him.
By this guy I'm mentioning. It's like a video of these two ghosts that are like doing a duet.
I don't believe so.
Look it up. It's cute. He makes a lot of like fun, like quirky content like that.
That's cool.
But yeah, it reminds me a lot of something that like Louis Zong would do. It's a bit funky.
It really is. Yeah, that bass line really carries on the funk, and I think that it is also helped by the more kind of aggressive kind of tone this song has. So especially with those trap drums juxtaposing just Daniel Caesar's like really just kind of sultry vocals.
Yeah,
it's a really awesome combo.
Yeah, this is a great song. Serpent with Feet, that was actually my nickname in high school. So
I didn't grow legs until it's funny, I didn't grow legs till the 11th grade.
Wow. Incredible. But definitely one of my favorite features on the album.
Agreed, yeah, Serpent with Feet.
He has a bonus version, AJ, you would like this, but Rick Ross,
Okay.
the hottest boss with the hot sauce, is actually on Valentina. Does a verse on Valentina.
Fat motherfucker. Like a Twisted
Now you're in
Fantasy.
trouble.
Like a Twisted Fantasy. What is that, Monster?
That is Monster.
That is Monster, yeah.
Oh, that album's so good.
The one and only Nicki Minaj.
Yes, that incredible fucking verse. But we already talked about that in December, so listen to that too. Listen to all our fucking episodes. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, we've been here for a while. We work hard.
Or don't. Do what you want. But it'd be really cool if you did. I'd give you a little kiss.
AJ, I listened to all the episodes. Okay.
All right, James, get over here.
Put a bit of like smooching sounds like we're in the right channel. But yeah, no, this is definitely the best feature out of all of them.
I would 100% agree.
And I think that's one criticism I have of the album. Like, this is, in my opinion, the only like really great feature. I think with the other two, they're very lacking.
Yeah, they don't really add a lot to the overall like product. Where here, I feel like it's just kind of, it just adds on, it complements. I especially love during his feature. There's some like nice wet pixely keys in the background that like really fucking rules.
Wet but pixely would definitely be a great way to like describe it.
Yeah.
I definitely think you're onto something there.
I'm gonna coin that too.
That describes me playing Minecraft. But I think the lyrics on this thing are pretty interesting, and I think AJ, you talked about this, but it's kind of back and forth. Like I love this one. I'm scared of getting older. It weighs upon my shoulders. I think that's a great line. But then, you know, of course, in the other chorus, he says, "Don't wear me all black. Just stay and throw that thing back." Ooh. Not once, but twice. But twice.
He's got such a way with words, as we'll see in a few tracks later.
Jesus, yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think this is a strong track. One of my personal favorites on the album, with definitely the best feature.
Yeah.
So onwards, move to Buyer's Remorse.
Oh boy.
Right here is where my fatigue starts to hit, which
Yeah.
sucks because we're like, just a little over halfway done.
Yeah. I'd say one thing, the hook on this one is catchy. I'll give it that. Like you said, he's really, really good at writing like the choruses and the hooks.
But there's a big glaring issue.
I also really have nothing else to say about it. What's the big glaring?
All that auto-tune, baby.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
I was like, this just does not sound right. This sound, it's usually when you use auto-tune, like nowadays, it's like for like a specific purpose to like kind of emphasize a certain thing, to like make it known that you are using auto-tune. But even here, it just doesn't sound quite right, even if that was the intention. It just it's very distracting, and I feel like it doesn't really fit the overall vibe of the album or the song.
I see. Okay, I gotcha.
It sounded like he almost just like found out what Astroworld was or Travis Scott.
Yeah, and he's fucking
he's just playing on the board like
That's funny. I really didn't have a lot to say about this track at all. It just was kind of boring to me.
Yeah, I think there's some nice keys during Omar Apollo's feature, and I like kind of like the muffled slowdown beat that happens towards the end. But other than that, there's not really much that I'm into.
Yeah, this one was really frustrating to listen to. It almost gave me the same feeling when I found out that like T-Pain didn't actually have to use auto-tune, and he was actually a really good singer. I don't know if you listened to like his Tiny Desk and
Oh, I have. No, he's pretty wild.
Yeah.
He's a good. Have you ever heard him sing War Pigs?
No.
Oh,
No.
dude, fucking look it up, man. It's pretty tight.
I'll
He's a
check that
great
out.
vocalist. It was not his main means of like talent. He used it as a tool. T-Pain can sing.
Yeah.
Him on Mass Singer even. That's
Now
the
he's a
ol-
Twitch streamer.
yeah.
The pipeline.
Oh man. This is really, really random. Have you ever seen the video where he has Hannibal Buress on like his show, and
No.
Hannibal Buress does like an impression of like
Oh, on the Eric Andre? Wait, no, that's Flava Flav when he gets kicked in the face.
No. It's like a T-Pain. It's some like I want to say maybe even a stream. I don't
Okay.
know. But he invites Hannibal Buress on, and it's so fucking funny because he does like an impression of like rappers from like the 70s and 80s. Because it's always just like he's like hip hop. We started out in the park. Like
it sounds just like him. Oh my god.
and he's like, there's one part he's like, get to the park and shoot some hoop. Do.
I fucking
so
love
fucking
Hannibal
funny.
Buress.
He's so fucking funny.
Fucking dude. Shall we move on to the next track?
Yeah, Shot My Baby.
So this is interesting. It's kind of like the classic like country revenge fantasy, but done in his own style.
I was thinking like Johnny Cash, Folsom
Yeah.
Prison Blue. That was the song I was never allowed to listen to as a kid. My dad had like a Johnny Cash CD, and that was like the one where you'd be like, why don't you go inside and, you know, like fill up my gas tank or
It was
something.
always locked in a cabinet with liquor.
We don't even care that you drank. Did you play this?
Did you listen to Johnny Cash? James, tell me.
Are you kidding me? Like,
I guess for like a 5-year-old, that's probably not the best song to
Yeah.
really get into.
I wouldn't say so.
But there was a I forget what the name of the album was, but there was a bunch of bangers. It was The Ring of Fire.
Okay, yeah.
And Walk the Line.
Yeah. Maybe it was his greatest hits.
It might have been the greatest hits. And he did something with, I think he did a song with his wife.
Okay. Jane Cash.
Jane Cash. Is that his name? Is that her
That's
name?
right.
That sounded good enough. But yeah.
But back to Shot My Baby.
Yes.
This is an interesting one. I'd say like production wise. It has like a delay effect on a sliding guitar, which it kind of works, but like I also feel like that's a little bit distracting to me. Because like, I don't know, but the song itself, like, it's kind of whatever.
Yeah, there's like also these weird like interludes, like almost like a barbershop quartet. It's like I don't know what the word is because I'm not like a play dude, but like a dramatic chorus, is that right? Where it's like the gargoyles and Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's like the people that are observing what's going on in the story and then relaying that to the audience.
Oh, like a Greek play almost?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
The Choragos, yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's kind of like what's going on here when they kind of show up. But I like the keys and the guitar in this track. Like they're very crunchy and very satisfying. Also during the outro, there's this weird part where it sounds like Daniel Caesar singing into a fan, which I'm just kind of like, okay. Keeping with the trend of weird production choices that will not stop till the album's over. But yeah, it's all right. But there's a nice guitar solo in there.
I think the beat is also pretty, it stands out. I'm not sure if it's in like a good way or a bad way. Something about it, I was just kind of like, this is a choice. You know, like
this is definitely a choice on Never Enough by Daniel Caesar.
James, do you have anything to say about Shot My Baby?
Yeah, probably the worst song on the album for sure. And these next couple ones kind of take a dark turn. It kind of seemed like it
Big twist.
It seemed like it kind of came out of nowhere, right? I mean,
it's fascinating for sure.
I mean, Disillusioned and Cool are kind of more, I wouldn't say depressing, but a little bit
Like low-key.
a little bit more low key.
Yeah.
And then just Shot My Baby just comes out, I guess, just like Daniel Caesar is with this gun with his baby. So, but yeah, definitely took a weird turn. I don't really think it needed to be in the album per se, but
I think it's like I respect the ambition that he has on a lot of these tracks because he's trying a lot of different things after like the halfway point. But like a lot of these ideas needed some like tightening up or like a little more revision before going into the final thing.
I gotcha.
Because there's a lot of choices as we keep going that just are baffling to listen to.
A little bit.
As we get into the next one.
I was about to say, yeah. This next track is called Pain is Inevitable.
Especially when you're listening to this track.
So the glaring thing that I know me and AJ are like vibrating in our seats to talk about.
Yes.
So there are these moments in this track where you'll just hear like a deep voice just go like in the middle of it. And
Just pitch down vocals, yeah.
It has a glaring resemblance to like Captain by Ween off of Quebec. Like there's a moment on in this track, like I don't even think it's midway through. It's like kind of toward the end because this track's kind of long too.
Yeah, it's a really long track, man.
Like it feels long at least. I don't know, but there's a point. I thought the song switched, but it was it's the same fucking song.
Yeah, because the chorus and the verse like do not flow into each other at all.
No, they don't.
Yeah, like the verses are just kind of like a crooner ballad. We have the strings that come out in the beginning, which is really cool. But then like when you get to like the choruses, it's like this weird like I don't even know how to describe it. Like almost like avant-garde. I don't think that's right. It's this weird kind of like almost like corporate like stock music with Daniel Caesar just kind of like overlaying,
just like injected in there.
Yeah, just this like really like lethargic kind of flow, just repeating the words "pain is inevitable."
Yeah.
Because I like the verses a lot. They give me kind of like Lauryn Hill vibes, which is really cool. There's also like a little theremin action that happens in there.
Is that like the whistly tone that kind of happens? Yeah,
at least I think it's a theremin.
Probably. It sounded very like Exactly.
But it's so bizarre, just like how disjointed this track really is, which is a shame because like the rest of this album is pretty tight.
Yeah, no, exactly. Especially for being like a quarantine recorded album. It was recorded in quarantine, but then like I believe 2022 and 2023, that's how long like they really
put into like mixing, mastering everything.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Shit, what else was I gonna say? Oh, the lyrics on this one also kind of suck. Just a little bit. This is the one where I specifically, like, I felt like I could just tell where it was going, like, a mile away.
When I first listened to this on the plane, I was, like, genuinely baffled. As, like, literally one of my notes is, like, what the fuck is happening?
No, it's whiplash. Especially when that second, like, sort of, like, section comes in. It's jarring.
And then, like, towards the end, there's, like, that's, like, when, like, the pitch down vocals are, like, really emphasized. There's, like, weird robot, like, kind of voices panning the channels with, like, a bardcore acoustic guitar playing over. It's, like, the weirdest fucking thing. It's very, very strange. I'm not sure what the idea was, but
you know what's so funny to me? You're like, oh, I listened to this on a plane. This is another moment when I was eating breakfast, when I literally kind of just stopped what I was doing. It's like, where were you when the pitch down vocals on Pain is Inevitable? Like, where were you when this happened?
I was on a plane. I was eating breakfast. James, where were you?
Where was I? I was playing Minecraft. Of course.
Oh God. Let's say I dried up real fast.
What do you think of this track, James?
This is different for me. This is usually the opposite. Usually I'm more of a fan of the chorus rather than the verses, but I feel like this is the opposite. I believe, and I this was like maybe a month or so since I've listened to this, but I believe it goes in with a string transition.
Okay,
if I'm right, which I think is cool, and I think that's cool that he keeps the strings all over the album. I love a good violin.
Yes,
you know,
of course,
really pulls at my heartstrings. Violin. Doesn't the violin?
Man, this cricket infestation's getting out of hand.
I gotta catch him. I gotta catch these crickets.
Wow,
man.
I can only imagine me at an open mic. But I love the chorus here. Pain is inevitable, misery is a choice. Just like, you know, everybody's gonna suffer pain at one point or another. But it's,
I will say, it's a very good message.
Yeah. It's the way that we deal with it that matters. And I think the reason why he kept kind of repeating it, I guess, is like pain, it just kind of sticks with you and stays with you.
I'll say, like, I like the idea behind the song, but the way it's executed, I don't know. I
agree.
Like.
I highly agree with that.
I agree. Absolutely.
I think we just kind of have to go to track number 12.
Dude, track number 12 is fucking wild on title alone.
Homiesexual featuring Ty Dolla $ign?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So
I was so surprised by that.
First note I had right away was even before the song track, which is let him cook. Let's see, how does he redeem himself?
Where are we going? Where are we going? I did write down, this is where my fatigue officially was reached.
Yeah.
I did kind of like the semi-seamless transition, though. That was kind of cool.
That was nice.
I love me some good old-fashioned.
Yeah, there's really cool, like, kind of almost like Italian-style guitar strumming in there, which I really fucked with. But there's some odd fucking bars in here, man. Very, very sussy.
Yeah.
Booty clapping specifically stands out to me that I'm not the biggest fan of. And it sounds like very early 2000s in a way during the chorus, like that R&B kind of era. Just I think in the way like the vocal delivery and I guess kind of the production. The Ty Dolla $ign feature was going well until the autotune happened, and I was like, well, here we are, same problem again. So it's like I respect it as a creative choice, but I'm very curious behind the intent of like what that was there for, because I feel like it's not needed.
Because I know you like it nasty, can't get that shit past me. I'm grabbing your throat, but I hope that you're happy. Is that booty clapping? Wish you were home. That's a stanza, family heads, of what we listen to.
Jesus,
I thought maybe that was a poem you wrote, Matt, that you were just airing out to the world.
A+.
And that's the fucking hook. That's the hook
man,
right there.
it is, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
So what, James? You know what the song's about?
I believe this is just the way that I'm interpreting it. I've obviously been very bad with poetry, analyzing poetry. But if I had to analyze this, I think Daniel Caesar is sleeping. His girlfriend is sleeping with somebody.
Okay,
and they're homosexual. They're just friends.
Okay,
is what I'm getting across.
Gotcha.
I believe.
Okay.
I believe. What do the lyrics, make you feel?
I'm
AJ?
reading them.
Uncomfortable.
I'm reading them right now. I'm reading them right now because I think honestly from the name alone I was just kind of like, oh, okay, this is a choice.
Bold.
So this I just pulled up Genius here.
Yeah.
Okay, the great folks at Genius. This is unreviewed,
Not sponsored whatsoever.
but this person says there's several ways to interpret this song. From one point of view, Caesar reminisces about an old girlfriend who has now started a same-sex relationship.
Okay.
Gotcha.
LGBTQIA.wiki states largely for individuals who have previously thought they were heterosexual, but then feel sexual attraction to a friend of the same gender.
Okay.
In Caesar's case, his former romantic partner has started a relationship with another girl, homosexual, but girl I ain't judging. From the other perspective, Caesar may be talking about a former girlfriend that is in a relationship now with a man Caesar feels is inadequate or doesn't measure up.
Okay. Interesting.
That's a very weird take to or a very weird way to take on a topic like this. Because here's another lyric. Because it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't.
Amen.
Amen, brother.
And they can never love you like I can. Hey.
Wow.
Yeah.
We call those bars.
Yeah, exactly. But is your booty clapping? That's my question.
Fucking every time I listen to this track.
That's our question of the week, family heads.
Family heads.
Is your booty clapping?
Is your booty clapping? I answered in the comments below.
Incredible.
I feel like this is it's a fun song in a way. It almost reminds me of Corday. I don't know if you know who Corday is, but he did a song with Anderson .Paak.
Okay.
And it was kind of a fun, just a fun track. But I think if that booty was clapping, it would give this song a round of applause.
That's true. If the percussion was just primarily booty clapping, that would be good studio imagery.
Incredible. Yeah.
But I'm ready to move on to the next track.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I fully agree.
Honestly, these last three I don't have too much to say. But starting with Vince Van Gogh, this is a kind of cool little switch up. I like the guitar a lot on here.
Yeah, the guitar is
very
really, really
devilish,
good.
very crunchy. There's, again, pitch down vocals come back, which is...
It's not
Why?
as jarring here, I
Yeah.
will say, but I was kind of like, okay. I have another lyric call out.
Go off.
It's imperative you remember this. Used to be handsome like Charlie Manson.
Jesus.
Which I was just kind of like, oh.
Is that like a roast to the person? As in, like, you're actually, like, you're so ugly you remind me of a vicious murderer?
On a more positive note, I kind of relate to the other lyrics in here. Wrapped like a Snuggie, sometimes I'm funny.
Is that like your LinkedIn profile?
That's my opener on Hinge.
I will say I did like the beat on this one. I think it was pretty good. There's like a shaker that's happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of made the track have a bit of like motion, but like in a machiney kind of way.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it, but like, yeah, it was pretty much just the beat and that lyric that I was just kind of like, this is... What does Vincent Van Gogh have to do with this?
Yeah.
He suffered enough.
Anything else?
Yeah, I believe there's a mandolin in this in the percussion.
Is there ooh shit.
I'm trying to remember.
I believe it kind of opens up with some strings or some kind of
It's either that, like a sitar or one of those two.
It might be a sitar, something like that. But
I do remember that hearing that on this album. I just don't remember where.
Yeah. Anything with strings, I'm just an absolute sucker for. But yeah, this is one of those situations where I feel like the auto-tune actually works kind of well.
Okay.
And did you say this is the song where it almost sounds like he's falling into a well? Where he goes, there's like some auto-tune, he's like,
I didn't say that.
No? Okay.
Who? I didn't say that either.
Okay, I thought you said something at the beginning of the album, but
I might have said it like on Buyer's Remorse. I think that's when the auto-tune comes in first off, possibly around then.
Okay. But anyway, he does like a maniacal laugh in auto-tune. And it almost feels like he's like falling like into a well or like falling or something
and
like
just kind
that.
of like fade out a little
Just
bit.
fading away.
Just like Vince Van Gogh.
One might say. I really don't have a lot else to say about this track. I got like some stuff to say about the next two.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Number 14, Superpowers. Again, I like the beat comes in like halfway through the track, and I did enjoy it. And something about the vocal singing, "You're the main character now," has such like a raw, like kind of bitter, vitriolic feel to it.
That's a good line.
There is one thing I do like. I love the fact that the tremolo guitar on the guitar just vibrates at just like the right like BPM.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's a nice little brain scratcher, knee slapper.
As the DeMarc head say. So I think the song is kind of like a slow start for me. It's there's more auto-tune in the intro, which again I'm not the biggest fan of, but as it continues to go on, I start to enjoy it a little more. But again, there's really nothing that really stands out to me here that I quite like about it, but it's better than Pain is Inevitable.
That's true. It's very, very true.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this is a great song just kind of to kind of slow down the album. And he has another album, it's called Freudian, which is 2 albums before this.
Okay.
And he kind of does that as well, kind of in the middle really has these great songs and kind of starts to slow down a little bit as the album starts to progress and finish.
Does he reference that album by any chance in this album? Because I swear to God, he mentions one of the albums that we listened to in this time frame mentions something about like Freudian stuff.
I don't recall.
Not to my knowledge, but
I swear to God, there was like a line like Sigmund Freud or something like that. Sigmund Freud, just really jazzy.
Mac Demarco, that classic vaudevillian artist we all know and love.
The vaudeville villain, if you will.
Oh, fuck, great album.
Oh, dude, I love MF Doom. I'm addicted.
He's such a good artist, but we're not talking about MF Doom. We need to someday.
We can do that later today if we want to.
Yes. But we're pretty much at the end of the album. Shall we close it out?
Yeah. Unstoppable.
Well, as Matt said, Unstoppable is our last track. There's some nice kind of like spooky Halloween keys that start off, which I like.
No, I agree.
There's also the beat in the background is really muffled as well, which I fuck with.
It's so interesting because it's got like these really driven like spooky synth strings.
Yeah.
And then like there's this broken sounding like bassy synth that's kind of like charging through. There's also like, is it a flute? Is it a theremin? Who knows? No, I'm kidding. There's like a weird kind of like flute-like thing happening in the background. It gives it like a Strawberry Fields kind of vibe to it. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
So that's like the first thing I thought of. But this one is just a very, I wouldn't say it's like the most serviceable closer.
I would agree, 100%.
I think it's
a little lacking.
It's a little lacking. It very much could be just like one of the other songs.
Yeah.
I feel like when you kind of have an album, you need to like have like a good like end, especially since it's been so long. You know what I mean? Because it's over my usual like 40-minute like golden
golden spot. It's like 53 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, around there. It's a little over 50 minutes. But I'd say like, hey, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, you know?
Fucking amen, dude. I would 100% agree. It doesn't really feel grand enough to be a closer, especially considering everything else we've heard so far on the album. It just feels kind of a little lacking. There's cool stuff in there, but the chorus is, I think, the most disappointing of all, especially considering how good he is at writing choruses in general. Yeah. So just kind of a whatever track for me.
Yeah, it's a little bit motivational, I guess, with the chorus, like I'm unstoppable, but other than that, I agree. I feel like it's a pretty, like, I remember listening to this album for the first time and it went back to Ocho Rios, and I'm like, where's the rest? Did I not pay for my Apple Music subscription that month?
Down a track.
But he on that Freudian album, he ended the song by doing like a mash of all the other songs that were in the album and kind of mix them all together. I feel like even though I guess it would have been considered repetitive, even if he did that again, I feel like that would have been a better ending than this.
And like there's nothing wrong with like you reutilizing like themes to sort of bookend the album. Because I feel like Daft Punk has done that in like a few of their live albums. Yeah, Bleachers does it all the fucking time.
Pink Floyd
on Gone Now. Pink Floyd, Queen on A Day at the Races. Yeah. They use the little weird backwards like melody with "Tie Your Mother Down."
Yeah,
one of the funniest Queen tracks of all time. But no, I think honestly, if you want to reutilize like a theme, like a lot of shows and like musicals do that too. Yeah, I think it makes it seem like a complete story. Exactly. And I feel like if we got like any sort of indicator that this was connected to the album, besides like
that it's all in the album.
Yeah, and like I guess the production being wacky. Yeah. Maybe that was enough bookend for him, you know?
True. Honestly, it could kind of be that way because it really is separated by the halves. Like the first 8 tracks are pretty standard, then the last 7 are kind of like fuck around with production style. So maybe maybe that's something. Maybe we're looking too far into it. And maybe it's time to fucking end our little discussion.
James,
Yes.
What do you think of this album?
Daniel Caesar's one of my favorites. He's probably in the Mount Rushmore of my artists.
Wow.
Possibly.
Very
He
cool.
has a great song called Japanese Denim. You should definitely check that one out.
I feel like I've heard that
Same.
song title before.
Yeah.
Where he's like, my blue jeans.
Just like that.
It sounds just like that.
God fucking damn it, the crickets got loose.
But you know, there's a few really great solid tracks, and I think to AJ's point, like that first half, if this would have been just an EP or isn't that what you call it? Like when there's only a few tracks?
Yeah, it's about like 20 minutes, like 15, 20 minutes around that
there.
range. Yeah.
So if that would have been an EP, right before I think it was Shot My Baby, right before that, right before it started to take the dip in production and songwriting and everything like that, it would have been a lot higher up on the
the old James rating scale.
Up on the Mac tier there. But I'm gonna give it maybe a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Overall.
Solid.
Very similar thoughts to what I had. I think overall I did like it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like that track run is pretty fucking nice. Not gonna lie to you. I'm without a doubt gonna listen to more of his stuff. I really want to like backtrack and look at his other stuff.
Yeah.
Because I said this was his third studio album. So I very much am intrigued to see what other stuff he has to offer. The production, when it has its unique kind of sound, it works when it works, like really well.
Definitely.
But then I also feel like it kind of suffers from what I have issue with like the Gone Now album by Bleachers.
Yeah.
Where I feel like it just has a lot like of random, I keep saying textures, but it's the best way I can describe it. Kind of like on the song All My Heroes, if you remember that one. Like at all. That one has a lot of really, really weird production choices that I personally don't care for. But it's got like really bassy sounds to them, really shallow sounding samples and instrumental parts. His voice is like really good.
Yeah.
He has
absolutely.
And it's like a way above serviceable for what it's trying to do. And I think he definitely knew what kind of sound he wanted. The problem is, I'm not sure if like we wanted that.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think like even if some of these songs, like if you cut the runtime just like a little bit and maybe just put like some of the other songs, even just as like extended version, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The track run really does well at first, but then for above 50 minutes, that's a little.
It's asking so much.
Just a little bit asking much of the listener. I'd say really the only criticisms I have are the features overall are pretty weak. Besides the one with Serpent with Feet. That one's really, really good. And it's a little repetitive sounding in terms of like how it was produced.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is pretty palatable and fairly consistent. So I can deem it as overall inoffensive.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be on the same like page as you because I did write down a ranking for this one. I'd give it like a 7.3 and like a high C or low B.
Okay. Solid enough. I definitely agree with everything you guys said. I feel like Daniel Caesar is the star of this album. Like his vocals definitely are the highlight, and most of these tracks when they're not caked in auto-tune, in my opinion. I think there's some awesome instrumentals in there, especially with the guitars and the keys and the drums and the fucking all the instrumentals do fucking great. I love all the harmonies, the layered vocals and the backup vocals as well, especially when they implement string sections and different kind of like guitars, like acoustic guitars and different styles. Like the Italian strumming is really cool. But there's a lot of good on this album, but it's bogged down by a lot of strange production choices that I do not really work. So I respect the ambition that Daniel Caesar had doing this album. I'm not sure what his thought process was making these choices, and I feel like a lot of them don't really work, especially on as long as of an album this is, and that back half is essentially just all of that kind of, it's not like really paced very well with the production techniques. It's like all really good and then all kind of whatever. So overall, I'd say this album's pretty middling, like C+, I would give, because there is a lot of really good, enjoyable stuff on there.
Yeah, like, and I think there is enjoyment to like be had from listening to this.
There's definitely like it's a overall solid album, just with some glaring issues.
Listen to like the first 8 tracks, and you're good. I think. You know, that's pretty serviceable in itself. I keep using that word.
So it's a good word.
It's a good word. It's serviceable.
How about adequate?
Yeah, adequate. But I do think that brings us to the end, though.
That does, and that was a very adequate transition, Matt. James, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh man, thanks for having me. Glad I got to share some of my musical taste with you.
Yeah, as we say to almost all of our guests, we would not have listened to these albums without you coming on. So thank you for sharing this.
Appreciate that.
We'll probably explore some of these artists more in the future.
Absolutely.
And we hope you had a good time.
It was great. It was so much fun.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess that'll do it for this week's episode of The Family Album. As always, I'm your host, AJ Tenari.
I'm Matt Glass.
And I'm James McDonald.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
No, only I do that.